Where Arts and Adventure summits the airwaves. This is the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show. I am R. Brandon Long, along with
Todd Oberndorfer.
And we are your hosts for the greatest arts and adventure podcast in all the land. This week's guest we have representing the Utah Arts Festival as the executive director, correct?
Correct.
Amy Dunsmore. Do you say that differently?
No.
Okay, Dunsmore. Okay, I just
perfect.
didn't know if there was another way to say
We have a
that.
lot to talk about tonight.
Well, apparently there's some news going on. Yeah. So, yeah, what's going on with the Utah Arts Festival? Is it even happening?
Oh, you like the little tease there.
And then we have two artists with us here, Beth and Todd. Just get Tristan. Tristan and Beth, photographers, and I hear they like each other. So
that's another little teaser.
that's another little teaser maybe for later. So, and Tristan we've had on the show.
Just a little teaser.
Little teaser. Tristan we've had on the show before. I think my favorite time Tristan was on the program was when we had the van down in the canyon with your crew. And so we had Bryden, Chase, Cody,
everybody.
yourself.
And your beard.
And your beard.
Oh,
Yeah,
And your beard.
Quite the character.
it's very long.
And we got a great photo of
It's
all
a
of
great photo.
Yeah, it looked like an album cover.
Oh, just brilliant. bunch.
Just
Was that the one where we're all like
slammed together like
yeah.
like a BLT or something. Yeah.
Did you see that we reshot that photo last
no.
weekend?
No, what?
Yeah.
You did not.
We were all together and we were like, we need to redo this photo.
I should find that old one. That old one's brilliant.
We have it.
You serious?
I'll send you it all.
Can you put them side by side?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
And
and then we photoshopped Brayden and I into the little piece.
Well, we weren't in the original.
Oh no, that's right. I
Yeah, it
remember.
was just
Somebody
their
had to take the
crew.
picture.
They did a snowboard film, and so we interviewed them about
On location.
On
It was
location,
great.
and down in the Ogden Canyon by the kiln, and that photo was great.
it would be
Oh my God.
wild to go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
We
But yeah,
we can.
we reshot that photo literally just a couple days ago.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, I think
On
it was
Tuesday.
last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Look at that. Causing traditions.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, we're going to step out for 1 second because I forgot to switch my lenses. All right, so just had to swap lenses real quick. So before we dive in, shout out to Salt and Hops, our sponsor of the program here, one of our sponsors, and they gave us a beer of the week. This is from Helper, who has a great art scene down there.
It's a
Helper
great
beer.
label.
Great label. It's a lager, so it should be easy drinking and taste good. Should we just all open some beers? Let's crack open a beer and
You guys crack it open.
yes. Salt and Hops, they are Ogden's only 7 days a week craft beer store for your beer convenience. And not only do they have craft beers, but they have NAs, and they have NA mixers and alcohol, and they have cigars, and they have like the coolest whiskey glasses for sale that I have seen. They look like 70s kind of. They're green. They're bringing back the tinted glass on some of those, which are really cool, but they're modern. And so, yeah.
And the team is like super, super helpful if you are looking and just blurring out.
That's me.
Because it's a lot of beer choices.
And this is the part that would suck to. I'm glad I don't work there because I've been there and people will come in and they're like, "Can I help you find a beer?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what I want." And they're like, "What do you like?" "Oh, I like everything." And I'm like, "Oh man,
That's going to make it easy.
Yeah, geez. Oh,
Close
my
your
gosh.
eyes, pick a beer.
Yeah, piece of cake. So shout out to Salt
The
and Hops.
$20 beers are in the bottom corner. Go down there first. What a wonderful place. This is a good choice. Who chose this one for us tonight?
Mary did. So Mary's our helper over there, and she gave us the helper beer,
Thank you, Mary.
American lager.
How
so thanks
fitting.
so much. Yeah. Well, I want to learn what's going on with the Utah Arts Festival.
About
So
to take a sip there, so.
No, beer comes first.
beer comes
It
first.
always
Yeah.
comes first.
Yeah, we got to ask the questions first. So, to recap, and this was interesting. So, I was sending out, because we do production work for nonprofits, and so I was sending out just sort of random emails to see if anybody wanted.
Was it high? Was it friendly?
It was.
Did you cross
It was
your
a form.
T's
It
and
was a
dot your
form, but
I's?
I mean, I got a response. So I don't know. I must have done something right.
Well, hopefully you mentioned Todd.
I did not.
Todd?
I did not on
What?
any of the emails. None of them mentioned Todd. So
Brandon.
mistake number one. Was that
And sometimes it's probably helpful not to. But
okay? Fair enough. But then Amy responded, and then I was like, okay, well, let's get you on the program and kind of see what we do. And then I mentioned to Todd, hey, we're gonna have a representative from Utah Arts Festival because
Not just
I love
any
the arts, but not just
representative.
representative, the executive director. And Todd's like, oh, that's great. Have you seen the news? I have no idea. So what happened in 2024? Kind of recap us, and then kind of
Do we have to talk about
well, brief.
Just
let's
kidding.
just touch
I'm
on
kidding.
it.
Touch on it. Yeah.
Totally kidding. So 2024, we were very optimistic about being able to get back to our normal attendance numbers. Past years prior
After
to
COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
prior to COVID, it was about 75,000. In the last few years, it's been between 30 and 35. And so we were hopeful with
That's a
some of our-
massive cut.
Yeah. it
Wow.
is. So, it seemed kind of unreal to all of us, the board, the staff, the coordinators, that, we couldn't get back to with some of the changes we were making. And that didn't happen. So we had about 38,000 people, a little over 38,000 people this year, which really impacted our income. We get money from ticket sales, from concessions, and having less people at the festival means less revenue coming in.
What is the main source of revenue?
Actually, the main source of revenue typically is our earned. So ticket sales. Concessions from the food, our beer, beverage sales, and all of those were down from what we'd planned.
So if 38,000 people went, but they drink a lot.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
If you can take one for the team and eat and drink a lot,
Yeah.
then
might be
we're
able to
good. Then
Make
we're
up the
good.
difference. Okay.
But responsibly, right?
Right. Responsibly. Yes. And so we'd have Ubers lined up.
Yes.
Out there.
We could do that.
Totally. So what did you learn, I guess, from 2024? And because there were rumors that it's like, ooh, Utah Arts Festival might not be around.
And that was true. Because, if we were in the hole and needed to pay vendors from that year, which was awful feeling. All of these people had worked so hard for us and to help support. A lot of it was marketing vendors and our production, which that's, really important stuff. And so we were worried if we couldn't make up that deficit, how can we even think about bringing back a 2025? So we put it out to the community. It was really important to us to be transparent about it and let people know what was going on. And of course, that's like my biggest fear, because people could just say, well, sorry, guess you guys messed up. And that's the end of that. This is our 48th year in 2024.
Oh, so close to 50.
I know, so close.
Oh.
What a nice even number to go out on.
Yeah, could you just give us
years.
2 more? We're good.
Yeah.
But the community was amazing. And yeah, we got some constructive criticism and some just straight up criticism, and that's how it goes. And that I think is really helpful. Some of the social media comments.
How do they submit? This is a form letter, email?
There are a few ways.
Yeah.
One, we did a survey. So if you just wanted to answer questions, we did it different than what we would do a post-festival survey, just kind of get some more information, which was really, really helpful, some of those questions. And then just a feedback form where they could share testimonials, they could share ideas, they could share criticism or just something nice. And so all of those things, and just also reaching out. We had phone calls, we had emails directly to us. So taking all of that, I mean, I think we got a pretty good sense of a potential new direction if we were able, at the time, if we were able to continue to move forward. And we got a lot of really great donations from individuals and people who've never even been to the festival that said, we just really think art is important and we want this to continue.
We've driven by.
I don't go.
Yeah.
Or people, and actually, I would call it, just manifesting. I was like, we just need one version for us. We need an angel investor,
Yeah.
And we ended up getting what I would call an angel donor that really helped us cover this gap and knows, sees the value and wants
Brandon,
to get
thanks for stepping up.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, I wasn't going to put my name out
what we
there.
do.
Being anonymous, hint, hint. No, so that really
Thank you for that.
made the difference. Yeah, but so many people stepped up. So many companies, some of our production vendors, reduced their fees, which was not necessary. They'd already done the work.
Like post afterwards?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The bills we still couldn't pay, and so we're just incredibly grateful for all of it, because I think even the social media and things like that, we're going down the rabbit hole, of all of the threads and taking things there. I think that shows us too maybe holes in perception, how can we better address those things going forward? And not many people really understood how much it costs to run the festival versus how much we charge. And I know it's expensive. Things are expensive these days. And so every dollar counts. So us asking you to give 18 at the most is a lot.
Yeah.
And so understanding it costs minimally $35 a person, whether that person pays to attend the festival or not. We were getting donations for $35, $40, so I could see people connecting with, oh, I thought this was run by the state. I thought it was a city event, kind
Well,
of
they don't.
being able to.
People don't know.
Right.
It's
Right.
called Utah. But
Exactly. No,
so-
another something else, that's on our minds for consideration. That there's a lot to think about, and we have to evolve if we want to stay around another 50 years, which we do. So that's kind of what we're looking to do now. Now we have the opportunity to do that, which is very exciting, very stressful, a little scary, very exciting.
Yeah, you should. You're also you're the executive director, but you're comms as well, because you do a pretty good job of talking about the thing. But before, like you had mentioned to me that there were some things that you thought about maybe changing the date. What are some things that you have? Some of the ideas that had come across the table there to maybe make it better.
So we got a lot of feedback about Thursday, which, was surprising to me because Thursday attendance had slowed in the years. That's why we stopped doing it. And Friday attendance during the day has slowed. So we are adding back Thursday evening from 5 to 11, which is exciting. I think that's a bit of a test for us to see how people attend and if they do without cutting our revenue on Friday, which is obviously critical to us. We can't.
So I have feedback on Thursday.
Go for it.
My feedback is that was my day to go because
Yeah.
I hated going when it was that super busy on Saturday.
Right.
So it was either Thursday or Sunday. Sunday's pretty busy too.
Well, so
but
here's where we're going with that.
Yeah.
We've got Thursday night where we'll do something cool, and try to do some good programming. It'll be discounted ticket because it's not the full day, so that's addressing some of our costs, some of our what it costs to attend the festival. And then the next day, Friday, from noon to 3:00, we're going to do a discounted ticket to get people down during the day. We're calling it right now a lunchtime discount. I think it'll probably have a better name, something a little more creative, but try to get some programming around that. And maybe, we don't have anything particular with the food vendors, but we do have a number of food vendors, that come on site. So do something to get people early in the day, like you. I mean, it's a good time to come shop because it does get busy in the evenings and Saturday as well.
But once you're there, you're there. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Well, and the thing
It's
that's
just
changed.
it was the parking and the people.
Yeah.
When it was 75,000 people, that's a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think too, what's changed is there are a lot of great events happening now in across the state, but in Salt Lake in the summertime, including, something we felt impacted us. There were 2 huge concerts that weekend, Saturday. One at Rice Eccles, I think, was a country concert. Sold out. I mean, seeing the pictures of that, it was
wow.
huge. And then New Kids on the Block were here. And to be fair, I would have been at that concert had I not.
I was working. So.
I had a little something to do.
Yeah.
No, so I think that's always something we realize now. It's hard to mitigate. There's always something
Trying
going
to
on.
schedule around New
We can't
Kids.
schedule around Live Nation,
Yeah,
and we wouldn't
yeah.
ask to. So just kind of having that understanding and what can we do to sort of.
Because those
work
venues
around that.
pulled how many people? Like how much does Rice Eccles and
I don't know the capacity, probably 5,000 to 7,000 minimally.
Yeah.
And I think too, that doesn't mean they all would have come to the Utah Arts Festival.
But it's
But you go out, you have a fun time. Sunday was definitely slower than we've seen, and so looking at that. So the 2, kind of going back to our dates, we're adding that day, more on Friday. We're completely redoing the site layout. That was
really?
something else that we heard in the comments of. Essentially, like it's a little bit too big, and the heat. That space, people really love Library Square. People really like the venue. But it is mostly plaza, which is hot and retains the heat. I mean, we have 200 East. Obviously, that's asphalt. It's going to remain hot. So we're going to try to use a little bit more of the grassy area and be able to have a little bit more shade, and hopefully, because heat is a factor. It has been getting hotter toward the end of the end of June than it has been, the when I started at the Utah Arts Festival. So, I mean, we have had all kinds of weather. We've had rain, we've had wind, we've had perfect temperatures, and we've had, the heat. So kind of looking at that. And also, I think part of people saying it's the same old thing every year is it is. The layout's exactly the same,
interesting. Yeah.
So to really kind of say, like, look, we're doing things differently. We're changing things up, trying to be more efficient. So we'll be cutting out the amphitheater stage and kind of anything past the arch. If you've been to the Utah Arts Festival, there's the library arch. And so we're kind of just moving it more toward 200 East. And we're going to move our festival stage, which is on 200 East, so that it's not in the direct sun and we can program that more during the day
Awesome.
and just be more efficient with the resources that we have.
Yeah. Is that well? You got a koozie on there. That's the
It's not
She was trying to
koozie
be
friendly.
sly
I didn't
about
know,
that. You
yeah.
called her out.
It was pretty smooth, but I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna fit.
I
So
was trying to do it
it's-
without like looking right? You know?
yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, these decisions are exciting. They're a little
Yeah.
frightening,
Yeah.
even for someone like myself who does go each year. It's also
Because some
incredibly
people like the same
fascinating.
thing every year. You know where stuff is. You know.
And that's the thing. We're going to have this generally the same programming, right? We're not getting rid of any programs. We are retooling it to really listen to the community and kind of the feedback that we've heard.
Yeah.
And there's not too much yet I can say about that's going to be, that'll be our next announcement, just assuming we can do the things we want to do. But yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity. It was very stressful. It was really emotional. We have people who have been with us for 30 years or more, and to tell them that we hadn't done well and that we don't know where this is going was hard.
Yeah.
So to be able to be in this position to even, try again and really be excited. I think when we've talked to funders, when we've talked to people seem to be excited about that, and we have work to do. So,
Well, and I do love the idea of this transparency too, because I'm definitely in position to kind of maybe hear about things before the announcement. And I'll be honest, this one may have come, I may have learned kind of with everyone, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of how low the numbers were. And I'll be honest, I'm there, we did our event, I believe, on a Friday night, and it sure felt the same. I personally counted 60,000 people that night. It felt like. And so
you,
meaning
Todd.
it felt quite,
Yeah.
it kind of had that same feeling.
I know.
Like it was
We
still
were
felt
too.
quite
We were
crowded.
really, so it was hard for us. I think Sunday, I kind of knew. Just watching the people come in Sunday, I sort of knew that would be down. But we'd also made some decisions last year that I think helped us and were useful. And we had a lot more attendance up at the amphitheater stage than we'd had. It felt like old times with like the big concerts, and that was great. That was really fun. So it was confusing at first, Also, we were so late we are grandfathered into that space for the last full weekend of June. So actually that sometimes is the third weekend and sometimes is the fourth weekend.
Right.
In 2024, it was the fourth weekend, and it was days away from 4th of July. I think there were just a lot of strange factors, and people felt like, oh, we'd planned for the third. And even some of our staff, like our seasonal staff, was like, oh, we were planning for the third weekend. We'll be gone.
Oh, that's
we're
interesting.
traveling. And so
Yeah.
we were able to work with the city this year to move a week up than what we were supposed to be. We're working with the Pride Festival because it's kind of close to their teardown. So yeah, I think a lot of people have been very kind and understanding, like you are,
Tom.
you're saying, like the transparency has helped us because there's nothing to hide. But
I'll tell you, it does. And this is another reason why metrics, filling out a survey on your way out or just being up for some feedback, that type of comments and things are super, super crucial for nonprofits, for events in general, because it is way less sexy. And as somebody who works for the Arts Council and we do a bunch of events and things, and most of what I do is a lot of the less sexy, administrative part, but it means everything. Like it really, really does. Because putting together your event itself, super fun and so exciting, but then it's sifting through that sort of data afterwards means everything.
And we had far more responses on this survey that we created for this kind of emergency than we've had on our post-festival surveys, and more wide-reaching, which is even more helpful. People who didn't come to the festival telling us why, and what maybe they've never been, and why is that? Because, those are the people we need to know about to some degree. We've got our fans, people who come. But it was really great to see. And I think part of that is, the news covered what was going on. We did several interviews with different outlets. And so more people were willing to share than have been. And that will be very crucial for our future. So we appreciate. That's what we were saying. Yes, we need money, but if you can give us feedback, that's very valuable as well. So any way you can help.
And it's nice that there was some coverage with the news, but the news does have a tendency to kind of
What?
hype up
I was a little worried.
the drama
Yeah.
part just
Yeah.
a little bit. Like you might be a little bit scared. Let's make you really scared. About
Right?
Are we coming back at all or not? Are we going to change what time we're coming?
There were a few partners that I was like, at first I saw a message and I was like, oh no, that looks so bad. And I was like, well, that was clickbait. And thank you. Thank you for that. Because we need it. We need the support. And we got several donations right after that went out. So,
part's good.
it's a balance, right?
They are all balanced. No
Yeah.
question about it. Yeah.
But very exciting. I'm really hoping to be able to announce in like the next month or so kind of our changes to programming, and nothing too crazy, but just additions and really trying to make it richer and deeper and more experiential. So
So
That is so exciting.
I have two things. One, Todd, I don't think there's anything less sexy about you. So just so you know, because you said you had that was that part of your job was less sexy, but I don't.
Oh,
know.
you see it all as sexy.
Yeah, it all is
Oh,
sexy.
thanks for
yeah.
that. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Yep. No.
So thanks for the immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Because we were talking feedback's very
We're talking
important.
feedback. Yeah.
Thank you.
But then I had a question on the talk about the artists throughout because it's an arts festival. So there's the artists and then there's the performance parts of it too. And so how much of that how much of that is this sort of the same artist each year? And is there feedback on that, or is there how does that work?
Sure. Yeah. So we have generally about 35% of our artists are new each year.
Oh, okay.
We do have kind of I don't want to call it a rule, but I guess a policy of if you've been in for 3 years in a row, we reserve the right to rest you. For a long time, we didn't. So you'd have someone that was in for 15 years. And part of it is, a jury process, but part of it is they see, even the jurors see the same work and know that person was there. So really making an effort to bring in new artists and not always have the same. But there's also...
That also means, Tristan, one more episode of this show and we have a right to rest you. we need to bump
Sorry,
it.
I didn't mean to
I think
give
it's-
ideas.
I need a
3
break.
or 4. If we need to, we're just gonna.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was going to bring him on as a co-host. Just he can come by every Tuesday.
Every
Yeah.
So that's something we implemented a couple of years ago and are trying to actively watch across all of the programs. But then particularly in the visual arts, the artist marketplace, it's a group of people that are traveling to many shows, right? And not a lot of questions we get is why don't we have all Utah artists? Not every artist in Utah wants to do a festival. It's a lot of hours, it's a lot of work, and might not apply. And so that's why it's open nationally, right? But we do give preference in every area, like every medium for visual arts to a Utah artist. Most of our performing artists are local, not as many. I mean, the headliners are going to come from all over. Sometimes they've been local too. So I think it's the visual artists and people wondering why it's the Utah Arts Festival. We have so many outside artists.
Okay. Well, I have thoughts on that. Do you have thoughts on that, Todd?
I have thouts on that.
Yeah, I think we probably
Let's
Here,
hear
oh,
yours.
no.
Let's hear yours, Tristan.
My thought is, first of all, my goal for all of my Ogden, we're in Ogden now, Ogden artists, is to be able to show in Portland and to show in Santa Fe and to show,
Yeah.
So if I want them to be working festivals outside of the state, then obviously they want the same for us here.
That's essentially what I was going to say, because it's like, local, of course, but also how do we see what's going on outside
I have to
of
tell you
Utah?
that there are, on average, 600 applications to our festival each year, and we have 180 to 190 slots depending on the year. It's competitive.
Yeah.
So this is the best of the best. We're well ranked in the nation for the fine arts festivals, so it is a good thing to get in, and people in the art world, artists do know about us and try to get in. And I think we did hear a few years ago when we did kind of some research and a study from artists saying it's who it's always the same artists that get in, which is where we started, to really publicly say this is how we're doing it. And yes, they might get in, but we're watching that. We're watching to make sure that we are ensuring there's diverse perspectives and unique voices all the time. And we actually started the Emerging Artist Program to really push that along. And I think that's grown. It's one of the things I'm most proud of, and that we've grown quite a bit over the last few years that we intend to continue to grow. So all our applications are open right now. If
Awesome.
We've got a lot of stuff there, and we've streamlined the performing arts, so everything literary, performing, urban arts, performing, like DJs and MCs are all under one application. That's new this year, because what we're doing with our stages within this move is instead of having one specific stage for something, we're mixing it up on stages that are appropriate, so we can do more performances and really expose audiences to a bigger variety of the arts that we're trying to present. So,
Tristan, what are your thoughts on that?
I cut
On
you
our
off.
last
I'm so
question.
sorry.
No,
Tristan.
you're good. Don't even worry about it. I like my thoughts on the artist outside of I think it's beautiful, and I don't think that it should be a ton of Utah artists. And if I'm gonna go to an art show, I think it should be like an eclectic group of people.
Yeah.
And because I get to learn from. Because if it is just Utah artists, it's really cool. That would be a cool thing, right? But then I don't really branch out. I don't get to see a lot of other people, what they're doing,
They have
and
their
all
own
those things,
networks.
right? And so I just think that the only thing that I was thinking is that like an attendee of the event, they might be like, oh, it's Utah Arts Fest. It should be Utah artist. And I think it might be hard for them to like branch out and be like, no, like there's artists all over the globe, all over the nation that want to be a part of this. And you get to come and experience like someone from, I don't know, let's say Alabama, who you may never heard of, and you may fall in love with their art. And I think that's a beautiful thing. You're giving that person an opportunity to share their artwork with people in Utah and build those relationships. And I think that's something beautiful. And I think also it should push Utah artists to step out and not just be Utah. Like go and see the other events, because like I'm sure there's amazing events just like this all over the country that if you're an aspiring Utah artist and you have the means, you can go and attend those events and be a part of it and check it out and get your name out there. And that, I think, is the way to grow as an artist is, you know, you bring in people that you may never heard of. Yeah. And I think that's a cool thing. You get people from all over.
That's a great
It's kind of part of that cycle. Artists that just do the circuit, kind of, you know, they try to balance it out, so they spend an entire summer just
they do it.
Popping from
I
city
don't
to
know
city.
how they do it. I couldn't, but they're literally good.
They have trailers full of art that they
there's a
tour
time
around.
frame, you know, when
It's like touring bands.
Yeah, they really do.
It really is, and they plan out their whole summer. So we'll have a wait list, for example, if in case an artist drops, and we have people calling, well, I'm coming through. Is there a spot? You know, so I mean, it's a lot of work even to just schedule yourself, I imagine, let alone have enough work.
And then just hope for no windy days.
Right.
When they got
it does get a little wind tunnely in a certain section, but
but
you
haven't had
Dangerously like
a twister yet.
Yeah.
OR had a
that's true.
twister go through. Remember that? Yeah, that was.
I don't want that on any bingo card for 2025.
No, we don't need that.
We're gonna edit that out. In fact. I never said it.
It would make a memory though.
It really
make a memory.
would. It would.
Yeah.
It would.
Mess up a lot of
No one
things.
would forget it.
No one. Well, and we receive information from the State Tax Commission, and generally an average of $1 million in sales of art happen at our event that are reported, and that's not including commissions. You know, meeting someone, which happens a lot. You know, and I only say that we don't make any money off the sales of the art at the event. It's all 100% to the artist, and then paying the taxes. That's just part of the business. But I feel like that's really, really cool. And I know that there's a lot more that happens outside, which is great.
That's
you know?
a lot of the artists I know who attend festivals. Most of the money comes off of the commissions on the backside.
I imagine,
yeah, because they do sell there, but sometimes people want custom work,
right?
So,
Definitely.
it comes later. So, how much time do you have to go artist touring, and see all these amazing arts festivals around the United States, and kind of get ideas and bring them back?
Yeah, if I'm out and about, you know, traveling. It's hard because a lot of them happen. A lot of the ones I'd like to see happen around the same time as the art festival. But I've been, for example, to Cherry Creek in Denver, which is another great event. And when I've been out, like in Santa Barbara, they've got kind of art strolls. I'm constantly going to any kind of arts-related event. If I'm, I'm sure my friends are kind of sick of that, or family. But yeah, I just try to get ideas and see what's happening, whether it's an event like ours or not. You know, how could we incorporate
Amy wants
that?
to go see the art in town.
I know.
It's like
Yes, we're always working. Event people are weird like that.
Never turn it off.
No, it's very difficult. But
Yeah.
I mean, I wish it would be nice, but a lot of them do happen right around, you can imagine. And being right after the festival is a challenge. I need a nap,
Yeah.
put my feet up.
Well, I'm really
75,000
excited that 2025 is on the calendar, right?
We are too, yeah. And
Okay.
just a big thank you to everyone who supported or put it out there. You know, we wouldn't be here. Honestly, we do this for the community, and it was great to see the community step up.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for coming on the show and explaining,
Thanks
giving
for
us the updates to all the things. So that's awesome.
I can give you the scoop when it's time. You know,
I'd love
the
it.
First to know.
Yeah.
It's really cool to hear all of like everything that's going on. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
So
Yeah. Great stuff. Also, I've had enough of this beer, this Helper American Lager, to decide that it's really good.
I thought you were
Set
going
me
somewhere
up.
else.
Yeah.
I thought you're like, I've had enough
I've had enough of this beer.
I don't
Pour
recommend
out
it.
the rest.
Yeah, to my homies.
Take
no.
this beer, throw it away.
No, it's really good. It's
Easy to drink.
Good job. Yep.
So
Great.
easy, in fact.
Nice job. Yeah, so
Yeah, their
easy.
brewery is pretty sick too.
I haven't been down there. I guess you have, Tristan.
Yeah, I just randomly.
helper?
Yeah, I drove through with Leonard from Uinta, and we stopped there and had beer and some food, and it was.
What are you doing hanging out with Leonard? You guys.
We
I
went.
think he's describing what he does for a living.
Yeah.
Right,
now.
yeah.
We just went. We went down there to film some Uinta stuff in Moab.
This year?
And-
Last year?
No, last May. I don't know, somewhere like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we stopped there because he's good friends with that guy.
And so he's the marketer for
So-
Uinta, but like he's always working too because you
Love
can't
Uinta.
pass a
Big
brewery
fan.
without going in and
Leonard,
checking
I don't
it
think
out.
he doesn't not work.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so,
Beer, art,
Beer,
Yeah.
art.
you just keep
work.
going.
Yeah.
always. Yeah,
I kind of like that life.
beer, art.
I don't hate it.
Work. Yeah, I do. It's good.
That
You know,
should
beer is
be-
heavily involved.
in everything we do. So
You should
this
make
is
that
good.
a T-shirt.
Beer, art,
Work. Beer, art, work.
Life.
Repeat.
yeah. So Tristan, we do know you. Beth, I don't even know your last name.
Well, my last name is Sloan.
Sloan. Okay. Hi, Beth.
Hi.
Pleasure to meet you. Welcome to the program. Also a photographer.
Yes.
So how did you guys meet? Like on a photo shoot somewhere? Or was it or did you just see the beard from afar? It was like,
I
oh
don't know.
man.
Do you want to take it?
No, I would love to hear.
Okay. So
And then she'll clear things out.
okay. So the
He's
sto-
smart. Look
the
out.
story
Tristan.
is, well, you guys know Micah and Cody,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of wild. Okay, so Micah is Bethany's best friend from high school.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then Cody is my best friend. And then they got married. She was in the wedding,
yeah.
and I shot photos of their wedding. And little did Beth know is that Micah and Cody were like trying to like whispering in my ear, like, you need
Yeah.
to meet our friend
Yeah.
Bethany, like blah blah blah. And then at the
Wait,
wedding,
so Beth, you haven't been around? Where have you been?
So I was in
Yeah.
Montana.
Montana.
So I
okay.
went from Colorado to Hawaii to Montana, and then I came down here for the wedding.
yeah, and
yeah, because Cody lives here,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and you didn't. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and so she came down for the wedding, and it was they whispered
time
in
out,
my
Tristan.
Yeah,
They took that long to even think of like Beth as an option because you've been friends with Cody for a long time.
yeah. No, well, I guess they were talking about it for a while, but they never
okay.
brought it up to me.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they brought it up to me like 6 months prior to the wedding, and then
Yeah.
I was shooting photos of the wedding, and I was like, I think that's that.
Was that
girl.
awkward? Was
No, because she
You-
didn't know, and I
No,
was
but
like,
you know.
Yeah, and I was like, I think that's that girl they were talking about who lives in Montana that they want me to meet, and then I didn't talk to her the whole wedding.
Were you nervous?
I was, and I didn't say a thing. I was just like, it might be her. I don't know. And then I just like did my job and shot photos and had fun. And then
Weddings are interesting because everyone looks their best too, you know, and so it's like, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful person. Or, you
Yeah.
know, everyone's
And-
pretty at weddings.
it was just so that was a small moment. And then
And then you handed the file of all your photos.
It's
and
just
like
her.
3 pictures.
One whole
It's
thing
like we were hoping some pictures of
Oh my
us.
god!
yeah, it's just Bethany smiling.
in the background of
No,
everything.
what's the Christmas movie where he takes all the video
Yes,
of the
Love Actually, yeah.
Love Actually, but he took all the, all the video.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So yeah. Oh,
fast
God.
forward, it was like, so they got married in September, whatever year, and then I was driving up to Glacier, Montana. She lives in Whitefish, and I was driving up to go shoot a surprise proposal for my buddy Noah, and Cody and Micah were like, "Hey, do you want to take a split board to a really cute girl in Montana?" And I was like. And then I remember we were all sitting around having food. We were doing the Hot Ones challenge, you know, the Hot Ones like
Yeah.
wings challenge. We were all doing that, and I looked at Mike and I was like, "Does Bethany even know any of this?" And she's like, "Nope." And I was like,
How did
"Okay,
you keep it a secret?
yeah."
I think Mike
I
could
would
do
have
it
the
all.
hardest
No, and
I
then
know.
and then Micah told Bethany like that I was coming up and I was gonna drop the split board off, and she just goes, "I also wouldn't be mad if you fell in love with Tristan." And
Micah
so
said that.
yeah, Micah said that to.
So you're Micah approved.
I was Micah approved,
Yes.
and yeah. And anyway, long story short, we immediately became best friends,
Wow.
and I stayed. I was gonna camp, and I camped one night, and it was like 20 degrees, and I was like, "Screw this! I'm gonna stay at the house that Bethany offered," and stayed there, and we just became best friends. Explored Montana for like 10 days, and then she showed me around, went snowboarding, and then we never stopped talking. And now fast forward to here
There's
we
your
are
sign.
now.
There's your sign.
She was living up there. I started working at Powder Mountain. She applied for Powder Mountain before I applied. And then
Did you know?
yeah, we were talking about it. And then I was like, well, there's a photo position up there, marketing position, and I applied for it. And
She's like, weird.
ended
I
up
also
getting a job.
applied
Yeah,
for
and then yeah, and then she anyway, so she months later she applied for the job she applied for. She was like, hey, this just isn't the fit right now for me. But if there's anything else that comes out, let me know. And then down the road in February, like she ended up taking a job at Powder Mountain, and she moved down here. And then just to fast forward to that, she moved down in April, middle April.
Yeah.
And then at the end of August, I proposed. And
Good
now we're
man.
engaged. So,
Good man, Tristan.
If you need an event planner,
yes.
I got a lot of contacts.
Oh, yeah.
We also have this really great event that happens. All the things are set up,
I love it. Yeah, that's perfect.
We have a perfect stage for it.
Music, artists, performers, everything.
All for you.
I love it.
There's food vendors.
Yeah.
Don't forget
Food
that.
vendors, yeah.
Beer.
You
Food,
into even.
beer.
Tristan, who's going to shoot your wedding?
That's been a number one question that
Right.
a lot of people have asked me.
Right.
Because they're like, well,
'Cause you're the photographer.
you're always the photographer.
Can you
Who's
shoot
gonna
your
it?"
own? Yeah.
And so Michelle Tierney
Mm-hmm.
is going to shoot our wedding. And you guys know Michelle, right?
Me, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle.
Yep.
So we asked her, and she said she'd be honored to do it.
Yeah,
and,
awesome.
And we're gonna get married in Montana, June 1st, 2025.
Where in Montana?
Whitefish.
In Whitefish.
Yeah.
So I was married in the chapel in Mammoth,
Okay.
Yellowstone, which is technically Montana, but my wedding, whatever you sign, is in Wyoming. I think it's Cody.
Cody.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I had to go to Cody to have them sign it official because they couldn't sign it, but took place in Mammoth, which is cool.
That's cool.
Montana.
Yeah. Montana.
Yeah.
Gotta love Montana.
I need to spend more time there, apparently. I mean, Tristan goes, seems like every year, right? Because you go to Glacier. Glacier's your favorite.
Favorite place.
Your favorite place. Yellowstone's mine. What do you love so much? I mean, you take phenomenal photos. So
Thank you.
follow Tristan is it Tristan Sadler on Instagram?
Yeah.
Tristan Sadler on Instagram, and just look at some of like the photos that he's taken from
You're too kind.
Glacier. I mean, they're gorgeous.
It's the best place. I don't know what it is.
That's how I feel about Yellowstone too. It's like
yeah.
I can't even explain it. I just have to go.
And I think, I think what you're saying, right, is like everyone has their place,
Yeah.
right? And I went to. It's kind of funny. The reason I found out about Glacier is because of Bryden, and Bryden's like, dude, you would love
He was right.
Glacier.
Yeah.
And I remember going there in 2016, and I just immediately fell in love, and it was like, obviously, like magical, perfect time. It was like fall colors and. Like just a little bit of snow, and it was like a little bit cold and crisp, and it was like, I was like,
Do you take I-15 all the way up, or do you? Because I cut through Yellowstone the one time.
oh, well, so I go I-15 the whole way up to
Okay.
Butte, and then either cut a back way into like Swan Lake area, or I go up to the Missoula, and then I'll drive past Flathead Lake or whatever. It depends on
But
what
it's
I'm
a
feeling
trip
that
because
day.
it's like
Yeah.
fields, like farmland, boom, freaking
Yeah.
gorgeous mountain.
It's
weird.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get to like Butte, Montana, it starts to get like prettier and progressively prettier as you roll on. And but yeah, I love that place. I don't know, it's just something about it. It's really special, and it's the place I go to like meditate and just spend time with God and just be alone. And then it was just so funny. I always talked about moving up there, and I was like, oh, I really want to move up here. Like I need to move up here, and then that's why I made a point to like go up every year, meet people, try to connect with people, stay 2 weeks, whatever, and all's that. And then I met Bethany, and I was like, this is my ticket to move to Montana. And then she moved down here, and I'm like, I'm stuck in Utah. No, but it was like really funny. I was like, I didn't see that happening. I thought it would be the other way around, like where, because she also loves.
I have
place.
two now.
So-
I have two now close friends. Tristan, you're one of them, I guess.
Thank you.
It was the close.
Jury's
but, yeah.
out, buddy.
Yeah, jury's out. Who have had their friends who are girls moved to Ogden from where they lived for the boys. So what is it about Ogden, Bethany? How did you make that move?
Well, I mean, a lot of it was Tristan was enduring, of course.
Oh, of course.
I must go. But I think I was really excited to work with Powder Mountain and the opportunity that I was presented. I was really excited about it and the growth that my career was going to take. And it was a moment of like, all right now in my career, because I was working at a hotel and I was the assistant GM, I was given an opportunity to help create something from the ground up. And I was like, you know what, this is one of those moments where it's just, you jump in and you just don't think about it. But everything literally worked out so seamless on the way down. I didn't have a place to live. This sounds like it didn't work out seamless, but I didn't have a place to live. And then a week before I moved down, I got a place to live. And I was like, yes, it finally happened. And everything just kind of came into place. And I loved snowboarding. And Micah, I mean, obviously my best friend from high school was here, and I haven't seen her or lived in the same
She
state.
snowboards. I don't know if you know this.
The darndest thing.
She's really good.
She's really good. And it was just, why not? And I'm so glad that I did. And it's just been, I mean, at first the traffic was daunting. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, where am I? And then I took a step back and I was like, no, I can easily.
The Ogden traffic was daunting?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Compared to Whitefish.
Yeah, no, I get
mean,
it. That's, but yeah, interesting.
You know?
Yeah, one stoplight. and
Interesting.
And it's only busy 3 months out of the year. And it's just you move to Ogden, you're like, this is a city. And it was kind of funny because I was like, this is not a city. I was like, this is
right.
so far from a city.
We go to Salt Lake.
Right.
Meanwhile, Bethany she grew up in Colorado. She lived in Denver for a couple years. I was like, that's a city.
That is a city. Yeah, that's a city. That's a big city. So what are you doing with Powder Mountain?
So I'm one of the senior managers under the Powder Haven property management side.
Okay.
So I kind of directly see the housekeeping operation side of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's your hotel background.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how far back does that go? Let's get to know you just a little bit better. And so obviously you're throwing out some amazing places to live and to work, but I think because of the job, those are amazing places because of, I'm guessing, hotel situation. When did you start this whole process?
So I started working in hotels when I was 17, and I worked originally for Vail Resorts, and then I started working for Marriott.
Vail, I heard good things about Vail.
Such good things.
I've never heard of that. Where is it?
Buying some things up, that's what I hear. Yeah.
And then I took a position with Marriott, and I applied for a job in Hawaii. I didn't think I was going to get it because it's the hardest region to get in Marriott, and they offered me a position. So they moved me to Hawaii in 2017, and I was there for a few years. And
which island were you on?
I lived on Kauai.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My favorite of the bunch.
And then she came back to the winter.
It just keeps getting better. Yeah.
Well, I moved there and I was like, oh my goodness, there's no snow. What did I do?
You missed that for a second, and then
Well, the Garden Island is...
it's just so beautiful. Okay, so because I have
Why
spent
are we
some
the
time on
banding
the
collective,
islands.
Todd?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
Because I was lucky enough to spend some time on the islands, on all the 4 main islands, and so try to take yourself back to that first week at that new job and kind of taking in that whole experience. And then you were there for 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a significant amount of time to get to know that island. You probably did a little bit of island hopping, I would imagine. So what was your experience like in Hawaii?
My experience was good. I mean, I think I learned a lot about who I was because I moved there in my mid-20s. I didn't have my friends or family. I just went, and I had to learn about the culture. The culture at first was challenging to understand and become a part of because I just came from the mainland. And so just learning
Whitefish.
Yeah. So then it was just learning to navigate that and just showing them hey, I respect what you've been through, and this is a beautiful thing. I just want to be a part of the community. And that taught me so much of how do I how do I go to a new place? Like, what are the important things whenever I go somewhere new? And it's just like getting involved and getting to know the people around you, getting to know the community, like what's important to them. And then also making it important to you and going, you know what, like this is really cool. This is really neat. And
That's a lesson more people should learn, by the way. And Todd has commentary on that as well. When people come into a new town, take a breath. Don't try to take over, but sit back for a hot minute. And,
Yeah, I'll say it. You just kind of like to shut the fuck up for like a minute or two and just kind of take it in. And,
yeah.
and that's the best way to get to know a culture of a place, and then also gives you an opportunity to meet, the people that you want to meet.
Yeah.
Okay, so you spent 2 years in Kauai, which I'm super jealous. I worked on a ship around Hawaii for like 6 months, and so I got to know the 4 islands really well. And Kauai I had favorite things about each of the islands, right? But what was your favorite activity on Kauai? What was your favorite place to eat in Kauai?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh man, there's so many good places. One of my favorite things to do would be to go and walk Polehale. It's a beach that's like 12 miles, and they have these sunrise shells, and they're very vibrant, and they're only found in Hawaii. And some people on the island never find them, but they say like they find you. And so I would get up in the mornings and I would go walk these like shell lines, and I found a bunch of them, and my heart was so full because it was like, even though they're small little seashells, you're like, it found me.
Oh, it's like the two of you. Oh, it's just like the two of you.
Adorable. Yeah, this is great.
This is the best story ever.
And then there was
We need more couples on, Todd. This is great.
Yeah. No kidding. We're like Waldorf and Statler. That's a different kind of couple. Yeah, we don't.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great reference, though. Thanks, Todd. Oh man, very few get that, but that's fantastic. Oh,
And then one of my favorite places on Kauai is the Kalahale. I don't even think I said it right. Juice Hale, and they had the best acai bowls, and I still dream about them all the time. I wish I could just have like an acai bowl. And then they had one that was called Molbetta, and I was like, oh gosh, yeah, like it had peanut butter all over it. Like it was. So
There's certain things I still miss food wise. Like, I mean, it just comes to you. I remember my favorite banana pancakes on like the Big Island, and my favorite place to do laundry on another island, and my favorite place to go to a movie on a different island. But then the waterfalls, the risk of not getting back to the ship, because what we do is we would dock in Kauai, and then we'd rent a car really quick and go around to the North Shore to like Honolulu or that kind of area, and then the risk of getting stuck over there if it's a rainy day and the bridge is sort of washed out a little bit, and such good
You
memories.
rebel. That's
my
awesome.
Gosh. Yeah, so many great memories of that. And so what was after Hawaii?
Then I moved to Whitefish.
Okay.
And it was so funny because I was so tired of working in hospitality. I was like, I'm never going to work in a hotel again. Sure enough, I ended up at a hotel as a
100%.
100%. It just happened. And then I worked for this company, and I went from a front office manager to assistant GM, and that was really great. And it's kind of like a small, like family-owned company. And it was really neat to just kind of grow with the company and see, like, we had multiple properties. They had the lodge at Whitefish Lake, and then they had the Firebrand, and then they have them, and they're growing, which is so great for them. But it was just like a really cool experience. And then, I mean, Whitefish is small, so growth only goes so far sometimes. But it
Less
was
waterfalls. Although there probably are some. I imagine.
Glacier has them all
Oh my
over.
gosh, yeah, of course. What am I saying? Yeah. And then after Whitefish,
I mean, now
Got her.
I'm here.
yeah.
that was the step. Now, what was Denver in there?
So that's where I'm from. Is
Okay,
Colorado.
gotcha.
So
Oh, I
was
thought.
in-
That was
Okay,
the
sorry,
original.
I misunderstood. I thought you grew up in Whitefish. You grew up
Okay,
in
got it.
Yep, I grew up in Colorado. I grew
Colorado,
up in
okay.
Breckenridge.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
Which is okay. My friend who has a girl who moved here is from Breckenridge.
So look at that full circle. All your
What?
pals. Yep.
Crazy.
Crazy.
So then does one get sent back? Do I go somewhere else?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how this is working. Yeah, this is,
Is there a trade?
there's a tree.
But I think it happens
Oh my gosh.
the latter part of June, early July. So it's kind of right around there.
I
God.
missed my window.
That's what happens. Yeah.
So Tristan, you're shooting photo. You're the photographer official for Powder. Like, what do you do? What's your job now? Title?
Content manager. At Powder Mountain.
That sounds important.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's wild. It's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do a lot of the photo video work up there.
Yeah. That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah, and then also I help with a lot of the other departments on hiring freelance photographers and videographers to create what they need, as well as kind of just like managing what content we want to put out on our socials, or what content we give to the other departments to like just so that we're all like the same, brand image. Just hey, like these are the photos we approve to use. This is what you guys can use. And then for like the events that are going on, I'll be hiring freelancers to help photograph them or video them. And then, so just like a whole bunch of randomness, honestly.
How many good photographers do you have? Because if you're hiring a lot of freelancers.
So and that's the other thing too, is with that, I also wanted to keep it Salt Lake, Ogden photographers, because we have so many amazing ones. And so it depends on the job, what it is, and so I kind of like I'll kind of like assess like their photography in a way, and I'll be like, okay, what are they really good at? What are their key points of like real estate? Are they good at like action? Are they good at candid event style photos? And then I'll keep it as close as I can to keeping it local and bringing in local photographers and videographers, and it also it just depends on the project. I have been talking with Cam McLeod about some things, and then my buddy.
I told you not to bring that name up on this show.
I'm sorry, but no. But I've talked to him about some things that we are hoping come to fruition, and then my buddies Sean
Can
Black.
Powder afford Cam?
I think so.
Okay.
And then Sean Black and
it's the Utah Arts Festival that can't afford it.
Yeah, right.
but my buddies Black Coles, Sean Black and Asher Coles.
They're in our office. At the shop. We
yeah.
work in the
So
shop.
they're
Great.
good friends of mine, and we may be doing a project with them where they're doing kind of like a campaign style commercial for us. And I've known Sean and Asher for a really long time, and they're just really great dudes, and they create amazing work. And then Chris Morgan for more ski photography, and Colton Edwards who does some ski photography, and it's just there's an eclectic group of a lot of people. And then Cassidy.
Yep.
You guys know Cassidy, right? Yep. Yeah, she's coming up this Thursday to do the first pizza and pints, and I have her on to just capture video work and just do kind of like a fun short reel of the event and highlighting it, and then I'll be shooting photos of it. And so I'm just managing all of that, and just like it's kind of wild because I went from being full-time freelance photographer to now hiring freelance photographers, and like I'm seeing like my end of it where I'm still doing freelance for other brands, and then I'm seeing the end of like hiring freelance. So I'm like getting like both worlds at the same time. Yeah, I'm learning so many things, and it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see how other people run their business, and then see how I run mine, and
all I know is when I was DJing up there, and then I see this dude like whip by the DJ booth on his snowboard with his backpack on, like throws his backpack off, whips out the camera, starts shooting, and then off. I was like, oh, Tristan's working. Working, man.
Yeah,
he's
real
working
quick.
hard. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have my backpack on 90% of the time when I'm up there.
Yeah.
And it's like 50 pounds of camera gear, and I'm just like, need to see a chiropractor.
But you've been doing this for forever. This is what you've done for so long.
Yeah.
Shooting snowboarding 10 years, 15, like a long time.
Yeah. Well, so I'm 36, and I was making skate and snowboard films when I was 13.
Really?
Yeah. So I've been doing
like
this.
a camcorder kind of
my first video I ever made was called Electric Shock, and it was on
a
cassette tape or a video, like a videotape. And
let's go.
And it was
God.
wild.
I have days where I feel like that was when we started podcasting. Oh my God, it just goes back. I remember when he was 13 years old. That video was so rad.
It was so rad.
Wow.
But no, it was crazy just to see where it's all come. And then and I even knew before I moved out here, I was like, I love photography. I love shooting videos. Like, I want to pursue this and just continue that same route. And it was like, never give up. Just keep going.
And it should be said that the only reason I know Tristan is because we went to photography school together up at Weber State, and he actually made a living doing it, which was fantastic. I decided to try to podcast.
Just a blessing, dude. It's like, I think it's one of the things I tell a lot of people, and this is what I tell a lot of photographers or videographers who are in it, or artists in general, is just do it because you love it, and don't just do it because you want to get paid. Like, obviously, yeah, you want to get paid for what you love to do, and that would be a blessing on every aspect. But just because someone told you no 9 times in a row doesn't mean you should give up. It's like there's that one person who's going to believe in you, and they're going to tell you yes, and it's going to snowball your career, and you're going to create connections. And it's just like, never give up, and just like keep going, and then you never know what's going to happen. And it's like, I've seen a lot of videographers and photographers just walk away too soon. Yeah. And I'm like, you're so good. And then they're just like, they give up because, I don't know, things just weren't working. And I'm just like, well, just keep going. If you really love it, keep going, and something will connect.
So someone told you no?
Tons of people. Won't mention names.
I said no that one time. Yeah. I'll tell you what, and I think what it comes down to, we'll bring it back to the Banyan Collective, is that it's just all of our friends are incredibly talented and handsome, and you need to spend more time in this studio space down here.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming down.
At the Monarch building. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, we are just, say the word blessed. I tell you what, we are as well.
Yeah, you guys have been doing this for how long now?
15 years this next year.
Yeah.
Wait, that long, for real?
Yeah.
That's 2010.
Oh, yeah, 2010. Yeah.
That's why we put it down
Amy
for
does
you,
math.
just for you to remember.
Well, I'm like, we've been here that long?
You're getting close to your 50th. You know?
I am. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to be 100 years old, and I'm going to be still here in this trailer somewhere just podcasting.
Yeah.
But like, think about how awesome it is that you guys are still doing this, and all the amazing things you bring to the local community.
We couldn't not do it because Todd's gallivanting around the world and still calling in and podcasting on our show.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. The commitment was there from the beginning.
Yeah, and I think that, what you guys are doing is amazing. It's just like, you just keep going. And you do it because you love it too, and you love the connections you make, the conversations you have, and I think that that's what makes, I don't know, creates a depth, you know what I mean, to it. And there's that, and that I just like, way more important to have depth to what you're doing than it is to have just like, I don't know.
Okay, fine, we'll invite you back.
The
So
3-year rest rule has
been yes.
Thank you.
It's been lifted. You're always welcome.
Always welcome. You say nice things about us.
Yeah, just never give up. Everyone keep going.
Never give up.
Especially if you love something,
that's so much better than what I say is usually. It's just like, we just never leave. Like, we just never leave. Like, we showed up in
Tom
2010
says the same
and we
thing
just
in a different way. We just don't leave.
But that's also beautiful. I'm glad you guys haven't left.
And and we've gotten better gear. I think that does help a little bit.
100%. 100%.
Like, production is also very important to us, and I think your craft is also very important to that.
Oh, that
for sure.
So we're trying to refine that every year.
You guys
as well.
have 4 cameras rolling right now.
4 cameras.
And these
four cameras that you
Not
know
to mention
about.
the hidden.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, 4 cameras we know about. And then these microphones, these headphones, everything is so official.
We're out of the basement, kids.
What are you shooting with these days? You were Nikon?
No. I shoot Canon.
That's right, Canon. Okay.
So I shoot on Canon R5 and a Canon R6 Mark II.
Favorite lens in the field?
That's really tough.
Yeah.
There's one that came to my head, so I'll just go straight to it. 70 to 200.
Yeah.
And then I really love
fixed.
No, 70 to 200 millimeter and f2.8.
Fixed aperture. f2.8.
Well,
No.
Wait,
what?
what?
f2.8. 2.8.
Yeah, 2.8. Yeah. Wow, we just got confused.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite lens that I think it helps me, and I know it's like a lot of people's favorites, but the 50 mil 1.2 from Canon, it just helps me. Like, I can just put that lens on, just walk around town, or just do whatever.
Portrait lens.
Yeah, it helps me be. I don't know, step out of my comfort zone a little bit, because I used to hate the 50 mil lens, And ever since I bought it, I don't know, I fell in love with it. And it's really nice to just, I don't know, captures the things I need, and from product to portraits to everything in between. It's just like in landscapes even, it's just really pretty. So
I thought you were a 35 millimeter lens.
I mean, I venture there too.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's really funny. So you would think that a lot of landscape photographers, they would always be shooting wide, and I'll have my 70 to 200 on 90% of the time. And because I love to just like I'll see landscape and I love to like zoom in as far as I can and like pick out details or light, hitting the landscape or whatever, like this tree or something or whatever have you. And the compression of that lens is just so pretty. And so I just love how it just like the one photo I shot of Ben Lomond looking down Washington Boulevard, I shot it at like 100 mil on the 70 to 200, and it just like brings the mountains right up next to the buildings. And it was so funny because when I posted that photo, this guy was like, "This is completely photoshopped." Like some random dude on Instagram was like, "This is photoshopped. This is not how it looks." And I was like, "No, it's just the magic of the lens. Like the lens does that, and like
called
there's
art.
something beautiful about that. Yeah, it's called art. Even if it was photoshopped, get out of here." Okay, I admit it was photoshopped.
Okay. Well, you had to do a little edit.
Yeah, but no, it's just the beauty of that, and I think that I'm gonna say the 70 to 200 lens is my all-time favorite.
Love it. Thanks, Tristan and Beth, for being here. Appreciate it. Todd, did you have any final words on what's going on with your life?
Yes, Finch Lane Gallery. So we had a closing reception for our previous show this past Friday, which means that this week is installation week for our next show. Programming doesn't stop, and so Friday night, which is not gallery stroll night, so if you're listening, take note, because it takes a little extra word of mouth to get the bodies in the gallery on these nights. And so Friday, which is the 22nd, I believe, is 2 brand new exhibitions. We have 2 painters, amazing artist named Mercedes Ng, these really, really cool paintings of Hong Kong opera singers in these incredible settings that you just love when you see this. Super bright and colorful. Going into winter, I need it because it's kind of starting to get gray here soon. And so that's in our West Gallery. And in the East Gallery, opening on Friday, is a group called, a lot of y'all might be familiar with them. It's called the Roots Art Collective. And so they are well known in northern Utah for being mural artists. And so, in fact, they did the mural on the outside of the, right, I can see it from here, from the Ogden Contemporary Arts, and so the space that's right over there. And so they are doing what I believe is their first sort of gallery show. And so some paintings that were made just for the show, and then you get to see kind of behind the scenes of these successful mural artists. And so it's actually rad. But it's coming together well, and so that'll be up for Friday night. So 6 to 9 o'clock will be up. And then gallery stroll this is the 1 month out of the year where there's a crossover between the Ogden Gallery Stroll and Salt Lake Gallery Stroll. And so Salt Lake changed theirs to first Friday for the month of December.
Just the 1 month?
Yeah, just for the holiday. Yeah, and so we'll also be open that night. So that's all I got to say about that. So come down and say hi.
We had our seasonal Ogden Avalanche meeting. So Ogden Avalanche is in operation.
Are they foreseeing avalanches this year? Or?
There will be avalanches this year. Yes.
Good to know.
And so
By them, right?
Hopefully they're just working on the mitigation side. So follow Ogden Avalanche on Instagram at Ogden Avalanche. And the bash, which is the fundraiser for the nonprofit so that we can help educate the public, is on Thursday, December 5th. And it'll be here at the Monarch building. And I think I'm DJing, which will be fun. I DJ'd last year, and that was my first time DJing like anything. And by DJ, it's a loose term. I basically have a playlist that I know how to, go between
great
songs.
unicorn mask.
Yeah. Well, that was I can add that. I didn't have that last year, but I got it now.
Ready.
So
What's your favorite song to play?
I don't have one. I have a playlist. It
You're a
depends on the
DJ
event.
and you don't have your favorite?
No, because it depends on the event. Really.
Okay, I got you.
But
you read your crowd.
Because like if you're doing a wedding, oh god, that's totally different than anything. I've DJ'd enough weddings to know that it's a totally different, totally different deal.
So it's going to be a lot of like avalanche music.
Yeah, so
The sounds of avalanche.
Thank you. Yeah, the sounds of avalanche.
Brought to you by.
Brought to you by. It is. I'm background. In other words, I'm not like the show or anything, right? So I just provide the mood or whatever.
Well,
and that's
could be the show.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, especially if you choose the wrong song. You become the show right away.
God, I know, it's crazy.
Lots of 9 Inch Nails. That's what I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now.
Who is
happened
on
last
music?
time. Yeah. So that's Thursday, December 5th. Please come out and support Ogden Avalanche. It's a party. I mean, it is a good time. So
It always is.
Yeah.
That actually is probably one of my favorite like Ogden get-togethers
fun.
of the year.
Yeah.
It's just it's just mellow. It's
Yeah.
right before winter starts. It's so exciting.
food, drink, party, friends.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Food, drink, party, friends.
Thanks to Banning One, that's the trailer right here for powering today's episode of the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show. You can listen and subscribe to Ogden Arts and Adventure on YouTube. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, thebanningcollective.com,
And
the Podbean app for Android and iPhones. If you want to be on the show, reach out to my Instagram at Ogden Adventure, slip into those DMs, and you will be considered.
extensive vetting process. Do not forget that as well. Yeah.
If you found value on this podcast, you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/Banyan Media, and that is where you give us all your money every month. This week's Outdoor Jukebox we'll leave you with. This was recorded live on Van Sessions, a little Eldersister. It was recorded at here at the Monarch building. So that's it for the show. We'll see you on the next Ogden Arts and Adventure Show.
Two colors fading to one sunset. You were always holding me up. I guess it never came up in conversation now. I'm reassessing those situations. They say youth is wasted on the young ones, but who's to say when your youth is done? Just take it easy, take it slow. Gauge dear loaves, artisans so records lined up wall to wall. MySpace photos, menthol rotos, you were dancing in the hall. I couldn't feel you right there with me, clouded by the smoke and poetry. I let you slip into the sea. Hungover Sunday, Harvey milk on Monday, worried I was leading you on towards us Thursday. I just said sure stay. You knew I just couldn't hold on. I couldn't feel you right there with me, clouded by the smoke and poetry. I let you slip into the sea. I wasn't strong enough then for the kind of man you were shaping up to be. Years spent apart when I broke my own heart. Now I'm humbled, now couldn't feel you right there with me, clouded by the smoke and poetry. I let you slip into the sea. I let you slip into the sea. I let you